me and my friend George were seeing who could throw a brick in the air the highest.
Oh no. Well, I mean, that can't end too bad, right?
And we threw it really high in the air. Like, we're talking, like half of a tree's height.
Oh, okay.
And it hit me in the head when it came down. And I passed out. And I
Oh
was
God.
bleeding on my head. And like George was holding a brick, he looked like he just murdered me. All right. I'm sprawled out on the ground. I'm unconscious. He's got a brick in his hand. There's another brick on the floor with blood. Like, I felt so bad for George after this happened. After
Did a
looking back
teacher
on
like
it now. He told
did
the
it
teacher, yeah. And
oh my
they brought a whole medical team. Like, I was on a stretcher and everything, like, because I remember like fragments, after the brick hit me.
oh man.
And poor George, I got in
No,
so much
George.
trouble after that. Of
George.
course, I got it off easy because I was the one hit. Of course, I was throwing the bricks in the air too, and they were like, "Hush, hush, you're injured. You're injured."
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, what? But man,
Oh,
I had to
that's
wear
so
like this
fun.
bandage thing around my head for a while, but that was wild, man. I felt so bad for George. I remember George
Oh
always like
no.
stayed away from me after that, and I felt really bad. I don't want to associate with you anymore.
No, George.
George, gosh.
That's that's so funny but sad at the same time. Oh
Poor
no.
George.
The image of him just holding the like one of the bricks in his hands.
Yeah,
Oh my
because there
god.
were two bricks in total. We were just throwing them up in the
Oh my
sky.
gosh.
Ah,
It's so funny.
oh my God. That reminds me of something else that happened to George. This was after the brick incident,
No, not George.
but I was trying to talk to George as we were walking outside, and there were a bunch of high schoolers in a field like super far away. Like, I'm talking super far, and they were playing frisbee. And one of them just decided to power throw the frisbee, and it somehow flew all the way over to us, hit George on the back of his head, and knocked him unconscious. George was in first grade. He knocked him unconscious on the ground, kind of like how I got hit with the brick. Like, that
Oh
poor
man.
George getting demolished by a
God
frisbee from
dang.
behind because he was looking at me. I think I said like, "George, look out!" And then it's boom, hit him square in the
Oh,
head. Just bop.
oh man.
Just
George.
collapsed.
Oh,
George had it
that's
rough.
I bet. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Another thing George got blamed for. Now that God, I'm thinking it's like all coming back to me. One day, George was not a fast runner. Okay, this
Oh
happened
no.
before the brick incident, but he was always super slow. He could never run fast. And sometimes we'd like run one lap around the field outside. And I would always run with George. I'd always jog with him because he was just so slow and I felt really bad for him and I felt like I didn't want to leave him behind. Of course, the teacher
Yeah.
was way ahead. One day George was just, tremendously slow. We were so behind that a car pulled up to us. And the car, a very nice woman came out and she said, where are you guys going? Like, you guys okay? Are you guys in school and stuff like that? We're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're behind. They're jogging up ahead. She's like, oh, are you sure? Like, do you need a ride somewhere? Can I call anyone for you? And we were like, no, 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 we're good, we're good. So then we went on our way. Oh God, the teacher was furious,
Yep.
furious, like
I knew it. As soon
anger
as you
boiling,
oh
screaming at
no.
that poor innocent little George, because
No,
George was the one that
George.
confessed. He fessed up.
No,
She was
George.
screaming at him, saying, "Never talk to strangers. You could get kidnapped." George was terrified.
Was he
Like,
crying? He must be like,
probably, I don't remember, but
oh god.
God, George was just scarred for life, man. Like, I bet George still doesn't talk to strangers because the teacher was just that mad. Like, he just probably doesn't even contact with anyone. Oh man.
Oh
Of course, I
god,
later told the
George.
teacher, I was with George, by the way. I got in trouble, but not that much trouble as George, who got freaking crucified on the stake in front of our
Oh
whole
my
class because,
god.
oh, God forbid, a nice lady wanted to make sure that he was okay because it looked like we were lost.
I want to hear from George.
I want to hear from George too. But after
Just,
after all the things that happened to us, he really hated my guts. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
he did not want to associate with me. This is bad luck.
I think whatever like you're singling out got rubbed onto him.
Yeah, and I didn't want it to, but like it
I
just it
guess
just so
stuff like that just happens.
yeah. One time I was we were doing an art project and we were assigned groups. This was after everything happened. And I was assigned a group with George, like somehow just randomly. He did not like that. I was trying to make him laugh because I'm a clown, and I just pretended to smoke a crayon like I was smoking a cigarette. And that did not please George. Oh no, George got mad. I remember George got up and he started walking over to the teacher. And I was like, no, George, don't do this to me,
George was like,
George.
"It's not gonna be me this time. It's not gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
me."
And I remember standing in front of George with like my arms out like a barrier. I was begging him. I was like, George, please don't. Remember, I started crying. I was like, George, don't do this to me, George. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke, George.
Oh no.
I was able to stop him because I literally remember dragging his arm back to our like assigned desk table. Like,
Oh man.
gosh, poor George.
But he didn't get like he didn't get
He didn't get blamed for it. No, he did not.
okay. Okay.
I think
Because if he did at that point, I think he would have snapped. He probably just would have went off on the teacher or something.
George was at his limit.